Every major college program in America looked at this kid and passed. No scholarship offer, no D1 interest, no elite facility, no recruiting call. Just a teenager from Wisconsin who the entire system collectively decided wasn't worth a phone call. He went to a Division III school where athletes don't even receive scholarship money, won titles nobody outside his zip code watched, worked shifts at a regional airport to fund his own dream, and then went out and ran 9.89 seconds in the 100 meters, the fastest time by any American in 2026, tied for second fastest in the entire world this season. At the same time, Noah Lyles ran to win bronze at the World Championships. And when Lyles heard what this kid had done, what he said cuts right to the heart of everything wrong and everything beautiful about this sport. We'll get there. But first, you need to understand just how genuinely impossible this story is, because 9.89 seconds doesn't just make Sam Blaskowski fast. It makes him a living argument against every single person who ever told him he wasn't enough. Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Not a place you associate with world-class sprinting, not a city with a history of producing athletes who compete on the global stage, just a regular Midwestern town where kids grow up playing football, baseball, and soccer, and the idea of running in a straight line for a living never really enters the conversation. Sam Blaskowski grew up there. Flag football, basketball, indoor soccer, competitive swimming. That was his world. In high school, he played baseball, and when he got cut from the basketball team, he started running track. Just like that. No calling, no grand design. Just a kid who needed something to fill the winter months. And then something unexpected started happening. He was fast, really fast. He ran 10.83 in the 100 meters and 21.99 in the 200 as a senior. He won Wisconsin state titles in both. He took the long jump title too, 3 state championships in his final year of high school. Surely the D1 coaches were circling, right? The only coach who reached out was Nicholas Gordon, the long jump coach at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse, a Division III school, the same school both of Blaskowski's parents attended, 1 mile from where his grandparents lived. Every D1 program in America kept scrolling right past him. 3 state titles, and the only offer on the table came with 0 scholarship dollars attached. Not a partial offer, not a reduced package, nothing. The message from the college athletic system was delivered without a single word. You're not our problem. Division III, the level where no one outside the conference tunes in. The level where dominant performances barely register with the wider athletics world. The level where even winning a national title means almost nothing to anyone with a Diamond League credential. Blaskowski shows up anyway and immediately starts taking things apart. Freshman year, national D3 title in the 100 meters. Then again, 4 straight national titles in the 100, 3 in the 60, 3 more in the 200. By graduation, he has accumulated 11 individual D3 national titles. One of the most decorated sprint careers in Division III history, and almost nobody noticed because here's the uncomfortable truth. Winning D3 nationals in the 100 meters means you ran somewhere around 10.2 to 10.4 seconds. That's genuinely quick, but it's nowhere near the territory where World Championship finalists operate. The gap between D3 nationals and the Olympic trials is enormous. The gap between D3 nationals and the World Championships is a different sport on a different planet. The real question nobody could honestly answer was whether Blaskowski was a world-class talent the system had overlooked, or just the fastest man in a field that didn't have many fast men. Then he enters the 2024 Olympic trials and lines up against the best 100-meter sprinters in the country. He holds his ground. He doesn't make the team, but he belongs on that track. For the first time, people outside Wisconsin start paying attention. But then comes the part of this story that almost nobody talks about. The part that tells you everything about who Sam Blaskowski actually is beneath the times and titles. After wrapping up his college career with 11 national titles the world mostly ignored, Blaskowski decides he wants to find out the truth about himself. He wants to go pro, train with elite coaches, and settle once and for all whether the system was wrong to overlook him. To do that, he needs to get to Florida to train with Star Athletics under Dennis Mitchell, one of the most respected sprint coaches in the country. The man who coached Sha'Carri Richardson to the 2023 world title, the man who built professional careers out of raw, unpolished talent. Mitchell's group is in Florida, Blaskowski is in Wisconsin. He has no sponsor, no professional contract, no financial runway of any kind, so he takes a job at a small regional airport, works through the off-season, saves every dollar he can, then packs up his life and drives to Florida to chase something that everyone except him seems to think is a fantasy. A kid who spent 4 years collecting titles the world didn't watch is now clocking in at an airport to fund his shot at competing against the world. That one detail is the entire story. He gets to Florida, he trains alongside Sha'Carri Richardson and Kenny Bednarek, the 4th place finisher at the 2025 World Championships. Professional athletes who have stood on Olympic podiums and World Championship stages. And something happens in practice that Mitchell picks up on almost immediately. This kid belongs here. His personal best heading into the 2026 season is 10.05 seconds, fast but not yet world-class on paper. He races 5 times in the early part of the season, including 3 at altitude, doesn't break 10, doesn't finish higher than 3rd in any of them. The familiar voices start up again. Maybe he really is just a D3 kid. Maybe the Olympic trials appearance was as far as the ceiling goes. Maybe quitting the airport job and moving to Florida was the most courageous, stupid decision anyone in American sprinting has ever made. And then May 30th, 2026 arrives. But before I tell you the number, think about Noah Lyles for a moment, because Lyles has spent years hammering the same message into anyone willing to listen, that this sport needs to reach more people, more communities, more faces who've never been handed anything, that the athletes grinding in complete obscurity are the foundation the whole thing is built on. He's said it in interviews, he's said it online. Speed doesn't care where you went to school. Speed doesn't verify your scholarship status before deciding who gets to be elite. And then a kid with 0 scholarship dollars from Wisconsin runs the identical time Lyles himself ran to earn a bronze medal at the World Championships. You already know what Lyles would say. He'd say this is exactly what he's been fighting for. This is exactly why he needs the sport to be seen, because Sam Blaskowski is the proof. Talent doesn't only live inside D1 programs and Nike endorsements and established Olympic pipelines. Sometimes it lives in a kid running airport security lines in Wisconsin, counting down the days until he can get to Florida and find out what he's really made of. Drop it in the comments right now. Did you think a D3 kid who bankrolled his own career with airport shifts could become one of the fastest humans on the planet? Because I genuinely need to know if anyone saw this coming. May 30th, 2026, Music City Track Carnival, Cleveland, Tennessee. Sam Blaskowski steps into the blocks for the 100 meters, 9.89 seconds, his first ever legal sub-10 run. He didn't ease into it. He didn't run 9.99 and then 9.94 and slowly work his way down. He skipped the 9.9s entirely, went from 10.05 straight to 9.89 in a single afternoon. Fastest American in 2026, tied for 2nd fastest in the entire world this season. Now let me give that number the full weight it deserves. At the 2025 World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, the best 100-meter final in years, Oblique Seville took gold in 9.77. Kashane Thompson claimed silver in 9.82. And Noah Lyles, 8-time world champion, Olympic gold medalist, the defining sprinter of his generation, ran 9.89 for the bronze. That is the exact time Sam Blaskowski just ran in Tennessee. The same 9.89 that put Lyles on the podium at the World Championships. If Blaskowski had been in that final, he finishes 3rd at the World Championships. The kid with 0 scholarship dollars. The kid with 11 D3 titles nobody outside Wisconsin watched. The kid who worked airport shifts to fund his move to Florida. 3rd at the World Championships. Dennis Mitchell was not caught off guard. He said this is what training had been showing him, that Blaskowski was built for this, and it was only a matter of time before the track confirmed it. And there's one more dimension to this run that the mainstream athletics world has been cautious about stating directly, but needs to be said clearly. 9.89 makes Sam Blaskowski the fastest white sprinter in the history of the sport. In over 60 years of professional sprinting, no one who looks like him has ever run faster. That is not a footnote. That is a historic fact that places this performance in an entirely separate category of achievement. 9.89. Say it again. The Division III kid from Wisconsin who ran airport security to fund his dream just ran 9.89 seconds. After the race, Blaskowski posted one sentence on Instagram. Breaking 10 wasn't just the goal, it became an obsession. Years of sacrifice, hard work, discipline, and belief all came together on the track. No speech, no list of people he proved wrong. Just a man who knew precisely what it cost to get to that number and wanted everyone to understand the weight of it. Years of sacrifice, 4 years of national titles the world scrolled past, a regional airport job in the Wisconsin cold, a move to Florida away from his family, away from his grandparents 1 mile from the La Crosse campus, away from everything familiar and comfortable. All of that distilled into one afternoon and one number, 9.89. The D1 coaches who kept scrolling past his high school profile are looking at that number right now. Los Angeles 2028 is 2 years away. Blaskowski will be 25, right in the heart of his prime. Home Olympics on American soil, a 100-meter final in a country that has never loved anything more than a story about someone the system threw away, coming back to burn it all down. The kid nobody wanted is now one of the 2 fastest men in the world this season. So tell me in the comments, Los Angeles 2028, Sam Blaskowski makes the American team, walks into the Olympic 100-meter final on home soil in front of 80,000 people who know every chapter of this story. Does he medal? Does he prove once and for all that every D1 program that passed on him made the worst recruiting call in the history of American sprinting? Drop it below. Every single comment gets read.